Hello, how do you do? It is me, Jakel. I'm letting you know that it's actually me because I've changed all of my information. Holy shit, it's cold out. But yeah, this is what my page looks like now. Username Cryptid Collective QC. And when we leave a comment, it's going to say we are Legion. Why did I do this? Well, I think I've gone a little bit feral. Some people dye their hair radical colors when they get to this point. Me, I change everything about my profile. Also, if I am going to upload multiple times a day and still get abysmal views that very rarely break 1,000, apparently the algo has decided it does not care about me. Fuck, it's cold out there. Obviously, there are some of you that do care, and I am grateful for all of you. But it really seems to me that there's only about 20 people that regularly see my videos. Which is awesome. I'm still grateful for that. But I am putting forth effort to play by what I perceive to be the rules. My content is not really reaching outside of the small circle, but the algorithm appears to have given up on me, so I'm giving up on giving in to it. Like, I literally exhaust myself making content some days. And the only growth I've really gotten, although I'm grateful for it, has been from 2 videos about Lucifer, the devil, and Satan. And those 2 videos have taken off like wildfire. Everything else struggles to break 1,000 views. I thought my content was struggling because I was doing deity interaction videos, because I was doing headmate interaction videos. No, this is just it now. So I am done giving nearly as much of a shit about the way I make the content. I'm just tired of constantly climbing an uphill battle that seems to have no reprieve. So I'm still going to make content, because I genuinely enjoy doing this. But catering to the clock app egregore really isn't getting me anywhere at all. So I'm not sure what kind of content I'm going to make from here on in, but I'm just going to start making content. If you're still here, thanks for listening. As always, take care and much love. MySpace feral. I think I can pull that off, actually. And it is at this point that I'd like to thank everybody for the number of followers that I have, because if it were not for that, I would not be able to remind everybody to let their boyfriend know that if they've got beef, that I'm a fucking vegetarian and I ain't fucking scared of him. Because even in a dress, I can pull bitches better than he can. And I just want everybody to appreciate how heavily I committed to this bit. But at least I can say comfortably it was never a phase, and I got more emo as I got older. And I can't make it on my own! And if I didn't have an audience, I wouldn't do stupid fun shit like this. Now if you'll excuse me, it's time to poison my lungs. Small, simple, safe price. Rise the way can carry me with all of my regrets. Also, rar. Yes, King Belial. I hear you loud and clear. And what's that? Queen Nama suggesting an OnlyFans? What the? Shut the hell up. Here is my main problem with making a spicy page. I don't want to see this in the birthday suit. Sure, I can get all dolled up and look pretty for the camera. I know that this is not unattractive. And I do know how to make camera angles look good on me. What I don't know how to do is make this look good in vulnerable angles. Do you feel it now, Mr. Krabs? Also, being the agender swamp goblin that I am 90% of the time, I've got about 2 generalized looks that I feel sexy in. Exhibit A, in which I already feel awkward in. I'm just really not sure how to pull off sexy when I'm trying this goddamn hard. But I do know that looking unbothered while in a leather coat, looking as if I simply do not wish to exist, definitely has an appeal to a certain demographic. And if you can't tell instantly what kind of music I listen to, I'm not sure if we can be friends. I know this gets my attention. So I know it will get the attention of people just as hard to be with as myself. And at that point, all it takes is an angle and the right kind of lighting. And then we've got Exhibit B, which isn't too terribly different, much more femme-leaning, pointing out the fact that I have in fact grown my own tatas, just in case people needed reminding, I'm not a man. And although this has some incredibly stellar angles, I believe that you will find upon closer inspection that I often have a little too much faith in my makeup game. The thing about any of these angles is that they are incredibly deceptive, because your girl is chonky, and your girl is incredibly self-conscious about her chonk. It's been the #1 point of personal contention since the 2nd grade. With all of this being said, I do know how to look appealing. I'm confident enough to ask my audience to consider the thingy, if this video has inspired dirty thoughts or if they like poutine. Don't know what that is? French fries with gravy and cheese curds. What it doesn't do, though, is make me feel better about being completely buck-ass nude, even if it is behind a paywall for a great myriad of people to see. With all of this being said, I have heavily considered thirst traps, because I do like being told that I'm pretty. I do enjoy inspiring desire. What I don't know how to do, though, is making pay-per-view content with a different magic wand. If you're still here, thanks for the attention. Honestly, that is a good question. I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm trying to make my escape. And it's gonna involve finally watching Wednesday, because I don't let myself enjoy something in pop media until the hubbub dies down. But 4 episodes in, I'm finally, for the first time in my life, beholding. Must you clean yourself so loudly? Do you have dry skin or something? Do you want to say hi for the camera? No, never. But this is the first version of Wednesday that I've actually resonated with. But I think I'm going to advocate for myself getting back off of the witchy side of TikTok and going back to being a spooky pharaoh succubus living my goth girl daydreams. Because this is a much easier way of living, and I'm here for it. So I have slowly been getting pulled into the sleep token rabbit hole. Now I can't say that I have dove in head first. There's probably only 5 songs that have really stood out and kept my interest. But it is still enough for me to figure out what the hype is all about. The metal element is incredibly groovy and oftentimes very reminiscent of Deftones. But I can't help but notice a lot of pop and R&B influences as well, and personally, I love it. I love seeing genres blend and that being pulled off excellently, and Sleep Token is doing that. But with this, there are a lot of listeners that don't normally listen to metal who are now listening to Sleep Token. And as this type of thing always does, the people with publicative platforms hate it. And therefore, they're talking shit about Sleep Token. And in this particular instance, I'm going to consider it a good thing. Not that I think the scathing criticism is warranted, but because it proves to me that these opinions are outdated and out of touch. Therefore, the sites and the publications that are hiring people that are then putting out these articles and putting their face on social media are also becoming outdated. And I'm not about to be one of those goobers that's suggesting some kind of label-oriented conspiracy. Instead, I'm going to point out that gatekeeping is a part of the history and the very fabric of metal and the scene. But we are now at a point where social media has granted us the privilege to not give a shit about what is being said, and we can go out and make our own opinion for free. But the bands and the kind of music that is approved by the tastemakers, as I'm going to lightly refer to them, that sound, although is good, is stale and stagnant. But the fact of the matter still stands. The public reception of Sleep Token is not the same as what is being reported as the people who are catering to an audience so quick to say, "That's not real metal." Congratulations, being considered real metal isn't a passing grade anymore. Making well-constructed music that caters to a plethora of demographics does, and that's exactly what Sleep Token has pulled off. And even if I never reach out of the 5 songs by them that I like, I can still admire the music and respect them for what they have pulled off. Which is proving that gatekeeping metal doesn't fucking work. And if you want to make music that is going to succeed, it's gonna have to be innovative. And in doing so, it's going to righteously piss off the people who keep it stale. If you're still here, thanks for listening. As always, take care and much love. I think I'm just gonna go back to working with death gods. Working with Hades, Hecate, and Persephone, easy shit. Working with dead people and helping them to move on, easy shit. Have you ever heard some of the necromancers out there talk about necromancy as if working with the death current is like the most destructive, soul-crushing thing you could possibly do? Like, don't get me wrong, everybody's got their own natural proficiencies. Everybody is going to be interested in different things, and if they are the same, it's for their own unique reasons. And for some reason that I can't properly fathom, necromancy in a contemporary standing has a lot of overlap and crossover with demonolatry. I mean, look at me, I'm one to talk. I'm literally the definition of a spooky nerd. But all of this so far is really just preface to say, I think I'm starting to understand why witches and practitioners on here have such a hard time and wind up keeping it super simple. At a certain point, you get out there far enough, it just stops making sense. And when you spend enough time on the fringe of discourse, you will be frayed at the ends. Like yesterday, a few videos I can talk. Yesterday I made a video talking about I want to learn about angels, but I want to circumvent the New Age crowd. But I was also incredibly critical of the New Age crowd. And people are in my comments asking me to cultivate empathy for these people? Here's the secret, I used to be one of them and I made it out alive, which is more than some people can say. The beliefs of New Age spirituality costs people their lives. Let's take for a second to consider that these light-being extraterrestrials are real. They read more like space Nazis than family of light. The spirits involved are also leading the spiritual eugenics cult. You want me to empathize with the people that sided with the space colonizers? No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going. And I don't have the spoons to argue with these people either. So I'm gonna just go back to working with death gods and return to being the smooth kind of spooky like a dark chocolate lava cake. Because I, myself, am a fucking goober. I realize I am the people I make fun of. And again, tell me how the Galactic Federation of Light doesn't sound like space Nazis. It does. On that note, I'm gonna unpause Wednesday and go back to watching that. Here's how my brain works some days. I read this comment. Spoons are the new currency of the realms. This is the scenario that came to mind. Are you ready to come back home to Kingdom Catonios? All due respect, Your Excellency, I don't have the spoons for that shit. I'm sorry. You what? I don't have the spoons for that shit. In my current mental state, in this economy, you think I've got spoons just laying around? I mean... That's not what I mean, and you know it. So you need time to recharge. This is a trick question. You want me to admit that I need rest. Hey, I almost got you. I am spoon deficient, but I still have plenty of fucks. Now you look here. Look where? Did you just throw the spoon at me? Now you have a spoon. Use it. Spoons. The new currency for the realms. Do I know the band Ghost? Can't say that I do. I mean, honestly, why would I want to listen to spooky Scooby-Doo chase music? Okay, you stop that. Okay, I'm a genderqueer demonolator with loads of religious trauma, what can I say? But upon setting up for this silly little bit, I discovered that my prequel CD is still in my ex's car. So if you or anybody else would be willing to consider the thingy so I could replace it, I'd be greatly appreciative. But you want to know about Year Zero. It's a fucking banger, I love it. I adore this song, it's fantastic. See, the thing about Ghost is that they are deliberately campy, incredibly so. They are goofballs and goobers on stage, And if you partake in any other supplemental media, such as the theatric mini presentation that really round out the expanded lore of Ghost, it's all satire. It's almost parody. Like, the same dude, Tobias Forge, has played several different characters under the Papa Emeritus moniker. You got Papa Nihil, or Papa Zero. 1 and 2 were a thing that I don't know much about. Papa 3 came around, was perished by Cardinal Copia, and Cardinal Copia is now the one we know as Papa 4. But it's all the same guy! He's playing characters that are warring with themselves. The presentation, the theatrics, the gimmick, it's all magnificent and fantastic. But the music still delivers. This is a concept album that is heavily influenced by the Black Plague, as well as his struggles with the fact that his friend, a former member, was suing him. Oh, but Tobias Forge is a Freemason, Illuminati, Satan! All that means is he's got connections and he's not actually self-made. Big shock there. But how many people grew up being told that rock and roll was the devil's music? Raise your hand. Tobias Forge makes music that is a theatrical gimmick that plays into that. And I fucking love it! If you or anybody else is a demonolator or a devil worshipper and you want to use it for some semblance of worship, go right ahead. It will probably work. But let's recognize it for what it is. It's a gimmick that puts butts in seats effectively. And Year Zero is a cool, well-constructed song that I adore. And thank you for the opportunity to rant about one of my favorite bands. As always, take care and much love. So, of course, there's more to my original song than that one. Simply, the song in its entirety is longer than 3 minutes. However, if you enjoyed it, please consider the thingy. And perhaps at some point I may have the means to actually record these and release them officially. If not, hey, I still hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Just feel free to kick back, relax. And I'm going to play out the rest of the video playing the latter portion of the song that I started the video playing. Wait, hold up. Alright, it's not in that drawer. Haha, there it is. Oh, I don't know, it's in here somewhere. There it is! Alright, I need to find a clean tone. Hell yeah! Fuck. So yeah, I'm gonna learn how to play Saris by Ghost. Let's get to it. That one was for you because you've been incredibly supportive of the guitar videos since I started doing them. Now I'm gonna dick around for funsies because, I'm remembering things all of a sudden. Ooh, that part was always difficult. Here we go. Well, I at least tried to remember Thunder Horse. I'm probably going to do more of these. As always, take care and much love. You want to know what's driving me nuts right now? I'm stuck in this weird little limbo. Because I spent damn near 2 years making witchy and spiritual content. It became my whole life and my whole personality. And the people here that know my face probably recognize me from that. And I'm at this weird point where I'm trying to break away. I'm trying to do no hashtags, no niche, just make content. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But that means the stuff to make content about is just my unfiltered stream of consciousness. And I'm not sure if you can deduce this, but there's some batty shit up in here. So I will make whole-ass videos and then not upload them. And honestly, I think this is a result of not really having any friends. I have a small handful of internet friends that I cherish dearly. But sometimes it just takes so much effort to convert thought into text. I could just call them, but phone calls are a unique brand of social anxiety hell that I can't quite explain. Do you know how difficult it is for me to pay attention to anything somebody says when all I am doing is using my ears to pay attention to your voice? I'm sorry, but nobody's voice is interesting enough to keep this crow brain occupied for long. So instead, I just share unfiltered thoughts to the internet. And because of the social dynamic that we have created for ourselves and is a part of the social media zeitgeist, I feel like I should be ashamed of that, but I'm not. Because social media, sad as it might sound to say, is the closest thing I get to social interaction. I don't have a car. Moving to this area was not by choice, but out of necessity. And I haven't exactly taken the time to meet local singles in my area. I downloaded Tinder a couple weeks ago, panicked the fuck out and deleted it. Because first of all, I'm not interested in dating, really. For a lot of the same reason why I don't want to just shout out into the void, hey, I live in the Quad Cities, come hang out. Because once people get to know me, they then realize that I'm fucking weird. I either overshare and overtalk, or I don't talk at all and we just sit in dissociative silence. But something that might be the most bewildering thing of all is what I put up on social media is not an act, and people who know me realize that. So parasocial acquaintance does seem to be a good fit for what is going on in this noggin right now. That way I can tell myself that I don't feel guilty for constantly pointing to the thingy, because this is the closest thing that I have to a job right now. And yet somehow there is still something liberating about this entire experience. Because I'm now officially at a point where drinking myself to sleep this Friday night isn't the default. Which sounds like progress to me. So I guess what I'm saying is, thanks for being here and witnessing this weird little limbo that I'm dealing with. As always, take care and much love. There's a lot of people saying that they want to be choked to sleep token this Valentine's Day. Don't choke me to anything. I am a touch-starved autist. I will fall asleep and then wake up in love with you. What I want for Valentine's Day is a Gengar Squishmallow. Because my inner child is a young, neglected girl. And her favorite Pokemon is Gengar. And I know I mention being a succubus frequently, but I'm not very good at it. I don't have a lot of practice. I know how to look cute, info dump, and ask for money. But I don't have a Valentine this year. I am my Valentine this year, and I want a Gengar Squishmallow. Does being choked to sleep token sound nice? Yes, but it will have unforeseen consequences. And I don't want sleep token to trigger my abandonment issues. So I want a Gengar Squishmallow. And a pair of Doc Martens, but the Squishmallow was a much more achievable goal. And cuddling a pair of Doc Martens doesn't sound like fun. Holy shit, it's the Amityville toaster. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know, because we should be friends. It's the Amityville toaster. Do I have an excuse to talk about Foamy the squirrel? We all remember a time when Hot Topic had Invader Zim merch and catered to the MySpace audience. There was a time, even before that, before YouTube even existed and Rotten.com was still up and running. There was a self-produced, semi-regular internet short referred to as Foamy the Squirrel. On illwillpress.com, there was a plethora of animated shorts, all about a nice sociopathic squirrel who terrorized the life of his owner, Germaine. Germaine was your stereotypical run-in-the-mill goth girl, and Foamy was her pet squirrel that talked loads of shit. Although Germaine was a nonconformist, trip-pants-wearing individual with wild haircuts, she still did not have a backbone to speak of, and Foamy, a literal squirrel that could talk, walked all over her. But hey, it's a squirrel. What do you expect? Through this medium and this frame, Germaine voiced the opinions of society and being an average person succumbing to the whims of a society that was entering a digital age. And Foamy was the character who voiced their opinion being very frequently antagonistic. The thing is, nobody wants to be Jermaine or Foamy. Because Jermaine is a pathetic pushover, and Foamy is a feral asshole. And although one would think that they hate each other, there were times that they got along, such as with the episode about the Amityville toaster. Although times continue to change and Ill Will Press, to my knowledge, no longer exists, it's still on YouTube.
I got from that internet auction site. What is it? It's a toaster from that haunted house in Amityville. You bought a haunted toaster? Watch, this is cool. You put in regular old white bread and... wheat toast? How did you end up with wheat toast? No one...
And before Gurr was the mascot and mainstay of Home Topic, that title belongs to Foamy. During a time when Hot Topic still sold trip pants and played Coal Chamber overhead. And I realize there's probably not a single person alive that has analyzed Foamy to this extent, but I have nothing better to do with my time. And I used to be a huge fan of Foamy the Squirrel. If you're still here, thanks for listening. As always, take care and much love. So last night I made a video about Foamy the Squirrel. First of all, I didn't realize that Foamy the Squirrel was still being made just on the big red play button. I have a lot of catching up to do. Secondly, in that video, I used Hot Topic sort of as the gateway to jump into Foamy. And many of us have this idea about Hot Topic, where it was very much filled to the brim with Invader Zim merch and actually featured decent bands that were relatively underground. But what doesn't really get emphasized is a time in Hot Topic history before that. I think now is an important time to mention that I'm a bit of a mall rat. The mall is one of my favorite places to be, even if I don't have money to spend. And I remember a time where Suncoast and Sam Goody existed. To my knowledge, eventually both of those stores would go out of business, and FYE picked up where Sam Goody left off, and for a brief minute, Hot Topic picked up where Suncoast left off. Suncoast sold all of the good, obscure anime and horror movies. And Suncoast sold a lot of the collectibles to go with them. Suncoast is the reason that I knew that Hellraiser was a franchise. And I recall being hyper-fixated on a Spawn action figure. And the Suncoast in my local mall shut down the same time that Hot Topic entered that mall. So Suncoast was selling a whole bunch of things at wholesale price that Hot Topic decided to buy. There was a little corner of that Hot Topic that really was the nightmare fuel that the Christian parents, reluctant to let their kids go, probably have stored somewhere in their memories. I've never seen the movie, but there is a horror version of Alice in Wonderland that exists that was filmed in black and white, but it was a horror movie. And the fresh, brand new Hot Topic was selling the collectibles associated. Now, I am the host of a DID system, and to save for time, what that means is loads of childhood trauma. And when I saw this corner of Hot Topic was at a time when my system was still forming. And there is a moment seared into my memory banks. Age 10 or 11, I'm just staring at this Tweedledee and Tweedledum figurine. I look up and there's Hellraiser collectibles staring down at me. There is a row of trip pants behind me, and Korn is playing overhead on the speaker. And now, thanks to remembering Foamy, there is a treasure trove of memories that have now been unlocked. If you're still here, thanks for listening. As always, take care and much love. So I've got a funny story for you. First of all, thank you for helping me get the eggs to try this out. Secondly, I promptly went to Dollar General because it's the closest place that had eggs. While I'm there, I'm also looking at cake mixes and frosting, and I'm like, hey, I can get all of these things. Throw it in the basket. I get home and am excited that I now have buttercream frosting. And then I realize I grabbed the brownies instead of the cake. Kicking myself over my abundant lack of observation skills, because the brownies were right next to the cake. I go to put the brownies into the cupboard just to find out I had cake mix. Furthermore, I had frosting. What I didn't have was eggs, so thank you for the brownies and the eggs. But now I realize there is a silver lining, because I now have 2 baking adventures to go on. And I don't want to come off as one of those people who is desperate to make content. I am desperate to curb my boredom. So I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make brownies and tell stories for the big red play button. Because something I like to do is talk at great lengths, and pretending that I know how to bake anything sounds like a good excuse to do that. I think specifically for the cake, however, I want to tell scary stories. Now, I don't know if I'm going to turn it into a thing, or I'm just going to have 2 random videos on my channel where I am talking at great lengths while pretending that I know how to bake. The only reason I have any hope of success at all is because there's directions on the back. So yeah, thanks for the brownies and the eggs, even though I had intended to get cake. As always, take care and much love. I don't think I spend nearly enough time talking about how much I love Slender Man. Like, yesterday I found out that Vampire Freaks is selling this t-shirt, and I've gone absolutely feral. Slender Man is just one of those things that defies logic. Slender Man was created online by Eric Knudsen, posting them on something awful forums. If memory serves me correctly, he dropped them into a competition. The images he posted were clearly photoshopped, but it still captured the collective imagination of the internet, and it took off like wildfire, and lore was created. And the lore is also a fabrication of the internet. And in spite of it being a clearly, obviously fictitious creature, people still have genuine Slender Man sightings. Myself being one of those people. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be quite as enamored with Slender Man as I am. Even making a nearly 2-hour video asking the question, if Slender Man is real, what could it be? And since I made that video, I'm dissatisfied with my conclusion. Partly because at the time I had not considered the idea of egregores, which are in essence supermassive thought forms, which are the source of pop culture deities. Which at this point I think it's actually a lot cooler to suggest that the internet literally brought Slender Man to life. But the thing that makes me consistently curious is the fact that Slender Man, in encounters, behaves the way that Slender Man would. Even invoking madness or slender sickness. So what if Slender Man is something that actually did exist and we happened to grant it power by our beliefs about it? Some have posited this about the works of H.P. Lovecraft, where even though his stories are problematic and fictitious, he was still writing about something that was very real. Again, I have to emphasize that this is theory and speculation on both accounts, Slender Man or Cthulhu. But Slender Man is just one of those things that reminds me why I got into paranormal and occult things to begin with. Because no matter how far we go, we will never know for certain. I just fucking love Slender Man. Now I'm gonna shoot my shot and ask you to consider the thingy, so I can get my hands on that Slender Man t-shirt. But if not, that's okay, whatever. I'm more interested to find out if you have had a Slender Man sighting yourself. Do you think that there could be some validity to Slender Man? Whatever the case is, I would love to hear your thoughts. If you're still here, thanks for listening. As always, take care and much love. When it comes to Slender Man, Tulpa is not an unreasonable answer, but it still makes my ass itch. And this has everything to do with my bias and the way that the word Tulpa has been utilized. In 2005 or 2006, the TV show Supernatural features a tulpa. And by the time 2011-2012 rolls around, when Slender Man is really at the peak of its growth, a lot of lonely white boys on the internet started calling themselves tulpamancers so they could make thought forms out of My Little Ponies. That way they could do the astral diddly-doo-dah. The problem is, when we are looking at this phenomenon, what is being called a tulpa, those who call themselves tulpamancers are making servitors. There's actually a cultural practice that goes into making a tulpa. Now, aside from my annoyance in the way that the internet has bastardized and whitewashed the term tulpa, it has become a blanket term to refer to a myriad of different types of thought forms. As a spiritualist, I would refer to these things as PK manifestations or psychokinetic manifestations. And within this classification of PK manifestation, we have poltergeists, tulpas, egregores, servitors. Egregore being another term that has just become something to blanket over any kind of thought form or PK manifestation. But what drives me banana sandwich as a host of a DID system is that dissociative identity disorder and the other types of system-bearing disorders such as OSDD is vastly misunderstood, stigmatized, and maligned. So there are a countless number of people who come into DID spaces and OSDD spaces and say that they should be a part of the community when they are tulpamancers. Now there are people who come and ask me what the difference is, and I have no problem enlightening people and letting people know that tulpas or thought forms are created deliberately and alters in a DID system are created out of childhood trauma. It still is an incredible annoyance. And this is the main list of reasons as to why the word tulpa makes my ass itch. If Slenderman is a type of thought form, I would classify it as an egregore. A supermassive thought form that has been brought to life out of mass belief because enough psychic energy has been granted to it that it gains its own sentience. And then with this, it detaches from the beliefs about it and becomes its own entity. Which is why people believe that the gods are egregores, but that's a conversation for another time. So thanks for the excuse to rant. As always, take care and much love.
How long has it been since last I woke? Half an eon for certain. This humor, it rouses me deeply. The vampire overlord has awakened. Quickly, we must prepare! Bring me my dark martens. What do you mean we don't have dark martens? How expensive did you say? Very well then. Through the spell book! Yes. My spell book? So much evil has been written within this. Certainly with it, the vampire will have their day. Where's my eyeliner?
Humor me for a moment, this inspired something entirely different.
Ah yes, all of the evil in here is still intact. Where is my general?
Here you go, Vampire Overlord.
What the hell is this? And who the hell are you?
That's the stand-in general, and my name is Raven. I'm the only one that's still here.
What happened to Lucian?
Witch Wars.
I'm sorry, what?
Internet witches. It's a long story.
My vampire general, my most elite fighter, lost to internet witches?
Not quite. He got fed up with the bullshit and left. He said, and I quote, "I don't get paid nearly enough for this bullshit."
What became of my captain?
Left with Lucian. I'm literally the only one left.
So then why are you still here?
Kitties.
I'm sorry, kitties.
Yeah, kitties. Isn't she precious?
Where the hell did that thing come from?
From the outside. I brought her in. She was playing with the puppies.
Puppies? You mean my hellhounds?
Yeah, puppies.
Well, if you're the only one here, do you want to be my general?
You can't afford me.
And why is that?
'Cause I'm too good at what I do.
What is it you do that I can't afford?
I ask this in sincerity. Do you really want to find out?
So you'll be staying for the kitties?
And the puppies.
Oh, good. Very well then.
One of these days I'm going to have longer hair. I'm going to have clothes that remind everybody that I did grow my own chesticles. And when that day comes, it's game over. I am convinced that the reason that I was born in an AMAB body was to prevent me from taking over the world. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go walk to the gas station to get some pitch black Mountain Dew. And that is all. Thank you for the attention. Thank you. I appreciate that. You want to know what's been fascinating me recently? UFOs. Sorry, the new term is UAP, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. The problem I'm facing is I don't know how to talk about UFOs publicly. Because either I'm going to attract the goobers that I don't want to talk to, or I'm going to come off sounding like the goobers that I don't want to talk to. And on my page, I've been incredibly scathingly critical about New Age spirituality and that particular fandom. And it doesn't mean that I don't believe in UFOs. Actually, it's been one of my longest standing fascinations since I was a kid. What I don't believe is that extraterrestrial light beings from the Pleiades were hanging out with angelic beings on Atlantis. And the cool thing about it is realizing that there is a surprising amount of overlap between occult phenomenon and UFO phenomenon. But if I start talking about occult theories about the subconscious and how ultimately our subconscious filters the way that we are going to interact with any kind of experience like this, whether it be with divine beings or extraterrestrials, there's going to be people that wind up trying to strike up conversation with me, acting as if they know what the fuck Carl Jung was actually talking about. I gotta wonder if Carl Jung actually knew what he was talking about. I mean, the collective unconscious is an incredibly cool concept. But then the Starseed fandom comes in and tries to spin it to be like, oh, it's a sign that you need to cleanse your Merkaba or some dumb shit like that. And when I start making fun of these people, there's always people that are adjacent to the fandom of the Starseed fanfic enthusiasts that want me to cultivate understanding for them, and I cultivated the understanding for them because I used to be one of them. There's a reason I call it a spiritual eugenics cult. But the irony is not lost on me that I am in the same breath talking about unidentified flying objects, unidentified aerial phenomenon, and how it has overlap with occult experiences and paranormal activity. The irony is not lost on me. So on one hand, this shit is really cool and I've been getting really into it again, but I'm pretty sure that I am an outlier amongst other outliers. This is my life. This is literally what it is. So what is it we're going to choose? Take the blue pill and wake up in a more liberated expression that's still within the matrix? Or continue to bend over and take red pill suppositories? I created a purple pill. And now I'm talking about drugs. This is what happens because I quit drinking. You know what? Fuck it. Let's talk about it. Also, real quick, this person gets away with making this observation because we are friends. Moving on, though. This video that I have pinned right here, Jakel has gone feral. It was literally a couple of days before that I decided to quit drinking. I just had a grand moment of epiphany and went, what the fuck am I doing? And since then, I have changed up my content. I've been having more fun doing it. I've been wearing makeup more frequently. I have been having a lot more fun and I have been thinking a lot more clearly. The downside, though, is I have been feeling everything more clearly as well. So I'm not sure if there is extra depression or if I am just now verbalizing publicly, oh fuck, everything sucks! Which is something that I have been feeling and thinking a lot for a very long time. I'm just saying it more. So when I said that I was going feral, I didn't realize what I was fucking signing up for. Because I have been uploading more frequently. Because I've been trying to find something to do to occupy my time instead of running down to the gas station. Downside is I've been smoking more frequently. So on one hand, it kind of sucks because I'm feeling everything. But on the other hand, I have never not been myself. But I have definitely been a very fine-tuned, curated version of myself. And I'm just fucking done doing that because I'm firing on all cylinders now. I've been more verbal, I've been more vocal, I've been more opinionated, I've been more on top of shit. It's like I'm an actual fucking person again. It's fantastic. So to the untrained observer, it might look like I am some kind of manic. But to those people, I'd tell them to fuck off and mind their own business. But no, this is just me not giving a shit anymore. And since I am not drinking anymore, I am feeling all of my feelings, and I am comfortable in expressing all of them. I also would like to inform people that I am diagnosed borderline personality disorder, and this is what it looks like for me. And in spite of the ups and downs, I am loving every second of it. Because I can feel again. But I think honestly my biggest frustration right now is that I want to buy clothes that I can't afford. I want to look pretty and feel pretty, and I want people to tell me that I am pretty, respectfully. I keep referring to this goth girl daydream. But I am actually referring to something. And getting to live it is so close, yet so far away. And all of this because I quit drinking, and I wouldn't have it any other way. As always, take care and much love. So somebody just watched an older video of mine, and naturally I chose to watch it. And by older, I mean back in July. It really wasn't that long ago. And the only thing that I can really say is, thank the gods that I've gotten better. By a lot. I watched that video and had to ask myself the question, who the fuck is she? We don't know her here. I guess what I'm really saying is, I have gotten much more comfortable in my own skin. I am much more knowledgeable on how to work the camera to my advantage. And truly, thank the gods for this blessing, because I don't see myself succeeding in any other career. So I'm grateful that I've at least gotten good at it. Don't let anybody tell you that cultivated vanity isn't a talent, because it's done wonders for me. Hey, don't talk shit. We all gotta start somewhere. Respect the drip. Would the goth kids from South Park step foot in a Hot Topic to purchase this shirt? I don't think they would. I don't think I'm too good for mainstream apparel. I might be a pretentious edgelord, but I am much more friendly than those posers. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to give offerings to the death gods and the demons that I worship. Take care, much love.